You're listening to the Social Selling Simplified podcast. Stick around if you too are obsessed with learning things that actually work and believe that success leaves clues. We're all about identifying results-producing roadmaps and getting super clear on how to scale and grow your online business. From part-timer to president, social selling expert Ashley Shaw will help you connect the dots and take the guesswork out of what works to grow a social selling empire. It's time to hear from social selling legends, listen in on truthful conversations, and learn the best tips and tricks to reduce the marketing overwhelm so you can build the social selling business of your dreams. If you're ready to go all in, no holding back, and build the business you've always wanted, you're in the right place. Here's your host, educator, social selling guru, and fitness industry OG, Ashley Shaw.
Welcome to Social Selling Simplified. I'm your host, Ashley Shaw, and in today's episode, we're going to be breaking down how to go from stuck to unstoppable and really having a conversation about transforming your creative process with some really frickin' woo strategies that I know work only because I've tried them myself. So I think that in terms of starting off on this topic, I need to share a little bit about my journey over the past few months. So it's pretty safe to say that it has been a bit of a bumpy road. And when I say bit of a bumpy, I mean it's been really challenging in a lot of ways, knowing that my creativity is at the center of moving us all forward in the right direction. So what I mean by that, not to be speaking in secret code terms, is that I know that in terms of the direction of what I want to be doing and how I want to be helping people, that has really been morphing and changing, realizing that I'm a sucker for simplicity. So I love to help take things and make it really, really simple so that you don't have to go to 10 other different, textbooks or trainings to try to piece together all the information. I do that in my free time. So let me save you the time and help simplify all the things. So I hate when things are complicated. And when I have something either that I'm trying to figure out or that I've purchased, if somebody doesn't make it simple, I just want to, sorry, this can be dramatic, but bring them around the neck and just give me the simple answer, distill this down. Don't make me figure this out. If you say you have solved this problem, make it so simple for me that I don't have to figure it out. So that is actually an interesting concept because it comes from this idea that what we deeply want to give to others, we also want for ourselves. So this is what I've, realized over the last couple of weeks is that something that I deeply want is for things to be really, really simple. So I can just focus on being creative and executing. And so when it comes to delivering content to the people that I help serve, I want it to feel the exact same way, that it's all the aha moments string together and it's holy smokes, this person has just absolutely changed my life. I finally understand. So in me wanting to provide that for all the people that I help serve, the truth is that social media and marketing in general, there's been a lot of shifting of things, especially over, the last 4 to 5 years, especially where we first started out with building our membership and giving people done for you posts and different things like that. And I think that my journey in wanting to help people has really shifted and changed because one, I still want to help people do that, but I know that there are things that have changed with the times. It's not the same way it was before that you could just post once on social media and be good to go. The algorithms have changed and we all know that advertising is more prevalent than ever before. So what that means is that your posts are just not shown as often. So the other thing that's changed is the transparency with all the available products that people have access to. Like you don't stand out as much as you used to when you thought you had a unique offering. And this would be especially the case in network marketing, where everyone has the same products. In terms of being an entrepreneur, you can, put your own spin on things, that sort of idea. But in terms of being in network marketing, where everyone's product is technically on the back end the same, you really have to like white label it and, bring people in based on something different. So the way that we need to connect with our audience is so different than it ever was before. You need to be able to attract people, but then show them that you're an authority. And the ways that we could do that before with just posts, it simply is not the same way. So this has been something that I have been really challenged with in thinking about, how do I make this so freaking simple for people that it's like click button and it's just so easy. It's like, here's your business in a box. How do I deliver this to you every month so that it's super easy to get your hands wrapped around? And so in starting off with that, whenever I have this creative block or itch to scratch, like sometimes I think that creativity and trying to solve something kind of comes across as like, when I have the right idea, I'll know. And in terms of the struggles that that creates, like if I don't feel like I have the right answers, it affects everything for me in my life, which I know I don't know if, I'm assuming there are other people out there like me that also feel that way, but it affects everything. It affects my relationships. It affects like how I show up at home. Like it's not a healthy process. But I'm also like, I'm just straight up a super creative. And that is just what happens when I'm searching for the answers. And I felt a lot better. I was doing some training with one of our coaches that we have in the paid media, like ads world, do a lot of coaching with him. And I came across one of his videos where he was talking about the head of Pixar and how they said it takes 2 years to come up with the concept and then, like 2 years to actually make the movie. And it just instantly made me feel so much better about this, because what this essentially is in the world of marketing, this is called a big idea. You need to have a big idea for people to stop and pay attention. And that is where a lot of our marketing efforts really fail, is when we don't have a big enough idea that people go, oh, wait, like I haven't seen this before. I'm going to stop and pay attention. So in hearing, this guy talk, it was like, okay, like someone gets me. I get it. Like I'm not alone in this journey of, feeling like I just can't get to the root of what I need to get to. But I can also say that in this process, there have been 3 main things that have really shifted for me in order to get that mindset right. Because I think when you feel really stuck, the mindset stuff just becomes more amplified, and our thoughts can start to become even more, like they can really hold us back if we don't have that in line as well. So there are 3 main things that I have done over the past, let's call it 3 weeks, to really shift that feeling of, kind of like super dark cloud over my head. And like nothing's feeling like it's flowing. Like I just don't feel in flow state. I feel like I'm in fight or flight consistently, to a state of holy smokes, I feel completely different and shifted. And I feel like I can approach the work at hand. So the 3 main things that I'm going to talk about today are Reiki. I'm going to talk to you guys about, it's basically business coaching, but with emotion code at the root of this. And then I'm also going to talk to you guys about microdosing. Okay. So these are the 3 things. I know, very woo, but that is right up my alley. And if you're still listening to the podcast, I know it's right up your alley too. So It's sometimes we just need to have someone bring these things to light to kind of do this check-in of like, have I tried that? And this could be the key for me to unlock this creativity that I really have and remove all that like kind of that dark shit, that dark cloud that kind of surrounds our brain when we feel like we're not in flow. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is Reiki and psychic readings. So I don't fully understand everything about how Reiki works, but I understand there are two levels. Level 1 is in person. Level 2 is distance. And I know that Reiki healers typically work with energy. And so when you have, different things going on in your body that are preventing you from moving into that flow and into that power state, then I have found Reiki to be very, very, very helpful. So I have a really good friend of mine. She's a psychic and she's also now a Reiki healer, level 2 Reiki healer, which means that she can do distance healing. So I sent her a message 3 weeks ago and I was like, Tracy, I just need a reading. Like, I hadn't fully known that she was going to be available in like a couple hours. She was like, okay, perfect. Let me know when Coco's down. Let's do this. So I had some questions for her that I wanted to ask around the business and just around like the creative direction that I needed to go and what I needed to do. And what's amazing about psychics that are also like very, very intuitive and business savvy is that they can give you this mix of answers that are leaning on what they know to be true in many different arenas, like from your spirit guides to also knowing like good business sense. Tracy had actually told me before I got the job as a president of a fitness company in an all women's, it was mostly women. We only had 2 co-ed clubs. But before I got that job, like she had predicted that was going to happen, that I was going to go into this all women's environment. And I was like, come on, that's crazy. Because I was working in various co-ed clubs and different things like that. So anyways, she called it, she nailed it. And like every reading that I've had from her has come true in some way. Now, I think where readings are really interesting for me is that it gives me confidence that regardless of if I'm in a storm of some sort, like I know what to look for on the other side. And that really for me helps with my mindset. It helps me to get, to just be focused on like, okay, where are we going? Where is the not the ending, but where is the next chapter going to be? It's in sight. And it really, I just find, helps me get out of the feeling stuck, feeling and emotion and getting me beyond that. So that's what I love about psychic readings and just, there are certain answers that are, like set in stone. And then there are certain answers that, she'll give that are like, you have a choice here of what you're going to do. So psychic readings, 10 out of 10, 100% recommend. The other amazing thing that Tracy does is Reiki on top of it. So she's a psychic healer, but then she did a Reiki session for me around money blocks and this healing. And so as she was doing this healing and removing these past ties to previous lives and different things, like she was able to like pinpoint these different lives where we had lost everything. And Bill and my soul have been intertwined in past lives. These are things that Tracy has told me over time. And so she did this healing. And however you believe that things work, I mean, there's many different types of beliefs and thoughts. And if you were to ask me like 5 years ago about all of these types of healings and different things, like I wouldn't have known anything about them, nor would I maybe have, not that I wouldn't have been open to it, but I just wouldn't have really understood it and how much of an impact it could have made on me. I literally woke up from this Reiki session and I was like, oh my God, the dark cloud is gone. Like I just felt unleashed again and excited for life again. And just this whole new revival of things. It was crazy. Absolutely recommend. I'm going to make sure that Tracy's contact info is also available. The sessions with her are so reasonable for what she does. Like it's crazy. I can't believe that this type of healing, like, I don't know, I guess you just associate something with so much value is going to cost so much more. It is life-changing. Like I would completely recommend working with somebody that can help you, whether it be in that. I think that the combination is just so beautiful. And then to be able to have the healing part on top of it. We all have blocks. That's just, the way that our brains work and have adapted. So 10 out of 10 recommend. And I will make sure to put Tracy's contact info in the show notes. Okay. Second lesson here. I want to talk about business coaches and emotion code and productive flow. So I had met Angela Christian Taylor on a podcast episode, and I was really interested in what she was doing. It was kind of all about, her podcast is called Productive Flow. And I thought, yeah, I could use some productivity in my life. Like I'm definitely feel like as a creative, I'm just kind of all over the place. We got into that podcast episode itself. If you haven't listened to that, make sure that you go back and listen to that. She was on the show, episode 169. And then I just felt like I was speaking to my soul sister, like somebody that completely got the idea that a lot of our shit and like how we respond to things is rooted in emotions and in childhood. So to have somebody that deeply understands that, is an expert in that, and then combines it with how we work, I knew that I had to work with her and I had to, become one of her students. So she is one of my business coaches, and she deeply, deeply gets me. Like she understands what I need, the validation pieces, and it's interesting because it's sort of the same thing, right? What we want to give to others, we deeply need for ourselves too. Like I want to be cheering people on and to give them all the emotional support and be that voice of reason in their head that says, you can fucking do this. You can do this. And I am here cheering you on. She has become that person for me, that voice of reason to say like, you can fucking do this. Like this is your quest. This is your mission. You got it. And so that has been such a game changer, just having somebody in your corner reaffirming that you can do this. The second piece to this is that she studies emotion code, and it's this whole other realm I had never heard about before that looks at different emotions that are trapped in your heart wall and in your body. And so there is this process of being able to identify those emotions and help release them, because our emotional state, basically how we feel, determines how we set goals. If we're not feeling very good, our goal setting is going to be shit. Like we're just not going to be able to reach to that higher level. So that has been amazing, because we've talked a lot about, the kind of those emotions, the things that I'm doing day to day that feel really good, and the things that feel like shit, and how to switch that around in my schedule. Like one thing we really, figured out was that the stuff in the afternoon, I was feeling drained. So that was a really good time to start adding things that give back into my life, development, coaching sessions, stuff like that. So having a coach, having somebody that gets you and knows what you need right now, like life-changing. You will you're going to spend some money to get that coaching. But the payback of that in revenue is 10 times, like absolutely for sure. Not a doubt in my mind. It is the best investment that you can make is in yourself and how you feel. Because if you feel good, people that feel good about themselves produce results. We know that. That's just like, that's just like development 101. If you feel good, you will produce results. The third thing that I want to link in here, and I'll also make sure to definitely give you Angela's contact info if this is something that you want to do a breakthrough session with her, because she's incredible. The next thing is microdosing. So I kind of learned about microdosing from various people, but specifically a doctor that lives just down the street from us in Ontario there. And she was talking about how it's been exceptionally helpful just in like, day-to-day things, whether it be, there's various types of microdosing. What I'm specifically talking about is mushrooms, and various types in terms of ones that help with mood, ones that help with your focus. And then there's one other type, specifically the company, and this is a Canadian company, they deal with a couple of, they're called Hey Zero, but they have one other blend. It's escaping me right now, but I'll make sure it's in the show notes. And basically, I can't, obviously, like, it's one of those, like, very much not studied very well yet, but they're starting to become, like, all this research on it and how it can be really helpful. So there are 4 types that Zero has come up with now in terms of microdosing. Light Bright, which is all about improving your mood, increasing energy, alleviating stress, boosting creativity, empathy. 100% would agree that it works, that they do that. Viewmaster, formulated to increase your focus, including productivity, coordination, mental clarity. Also tried those. Amazing. Connect 4 has been formulated to improve cognitive function, memory, perspective, healthy neuron transmission. Haven't used those as much. Haven't really felt like memory or anything like that has been an issue. And then there's a new one called Boomerang. So it's formulated to elevate movement practice and support fitness goals. Have not tried that yet, but I have tried Light Bright and Viewmaster. Like 10 out of 10 would recommend, like absolutely. And you can just start with something smaller. Like the size of the microdosing capsules are like 75. I think they start up to 100 to 150. So the goal is to just take a little bit and then you can increase your dosage as needed. But I definitely, all those benefits that I just explained, 100% would agree. It brings out those things. So what I really enjoy about microdosing is that it's mushrooms. So that is, something that those are natural in terms of the earth and where they come from and all of that jazz. And I have just, this is kind of the first time in my life that I have had been open, I guess, to trying these types of remedies and these things. And again, like I noticed such a big difference in microdosing. So I am a huge fan. Do your own research. Like obviously, like I am, I'm just speaking from my own creative space and what I've tried and what I think really, really works. So hopefully this episode was, like helpful for you guys. I think, in terms of the key points of today, I think, it's really about not being closed-minded to things that are in the woo space. Like the woo space can be so like transformative. And I just want to lean the fuck into that because it just provides this whole other environment of things that, like I have just not found the same care and life-changing ability in, like a lot of the mainstream stuff. So this stuff is becoming more mainstream, but it just, man, if you are stuck, lean the fuck into this because it can be really, really life-changing. So I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today here, for letting me rant, letting me tell you about all the things. And I can tell you that I feel definitely like 100% more clear than I ever have before on my mission, where we're going. And I can tell you that these 3 things that I have mentioned are definitely at the foundation of that success. So thank you so much for spending this time with me today. And I look forward to seeing you back here on Social Selling Simplified.
Thanks for taking the time to level up today. If you're ready to commit to personal and professional growth, move forward, make money, and grow your health and fitness business, head to my free community on Facebook, Business Bootcamp for Fitness Coaches, so I can support you every step along the way. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and we'll see you right back here next week on Social Selling Simplified.